The Kabuliwala, written by Rabindranath Tagore.
My child, Minnie, has a blind belief that little children are taken away by Kabuliwala in the large bag. So, one day I was hard at work when Minnie, my 5 years old daughter, suddenly ran to the window crying.
Kabuliwala, oh Kabuliwala.
Hearing her calls, the Kabuliwala turned and looked up at the child and said,
Who by now? Who called me?
after I made some small purchase from the peddler, he asked,
Where is difficult, sir? I want Minnie to lose her false fear.
I sent Minnie to Rahman, the Kabuliwala. She stood by my chair and looked at the Kabuliwala and his bag. Then he offered her some nuts and rains, but she only clung closer to me. A few moments later, I was struggling to find Minnie laughing and talking with Rahman. He has won over the child with he was offerings of nuts and fruits. Finally, I have won the child. They have many foreign jokes which assume them greatly. Giggling, Minute began.
Kabuliwala, oh Kabuliwala, what do you have in your bag?
Then Kabuliwala would tease Minnie.
Well, little one, when are you going in your father-in-law house?
This question would puzzle Minnie, but she replied quickly.
Are you going there?
Ha! I will trash my father-in-law.
Hearing this, the pair will dissolve into peals of laughter. One day, I heard an approach in the street and saw Rahman being led away by policemen. Its clothes were blood-stained, and one of policemen carried a knife. What has happened was a customer had made purchase from Rahman, but he had denied doing so. In this course of quarrel, Rahman had stopped him. Meanwhile, from a veranda came Minnie and said,
Kabuliwala, oh Kabuliwala.
his face lit up as he turned to her. He has no bag under his arm today, so she did not talk about the elephant. She therefore proceeds to the next question.
Kabuliwala, are you going to your father-in-law house?
Laughing, Rahman said,
That is just right. I am going, little one.
Rahman has sentenced to several years imprisonment for having attacked from person violently. Time passed and he was forgotten. It was autumn, and Minnie was going to be married. The morning of our wedding dawned with filth and endless hurry and excitement. I was in my study, looking through the accounts, when someone entered, salting respectfully. It was the Kavliwala. At first, he was unrecognizable with his bag, long hair, and his cheerful sprite. But he smiled and I knew him again. When did you come, Rahman? I asked.
I was released from jail yesterday.
Tugged harshly upon my ears. There are ceremonies going on, I said. Perhaps you can come another day. Scarcely he left, but returned at a moment. I was going to pet him, but he stopped me and said,
You're very kind, sir, but I am not here part of it.
I too have a little girl in my home.
I think for her and bring this food to your child.
Saying this, he took out a fruit and a dirty piece of paper, unfolding it with a great care hand. The expression of a little hand, not a photograph, not a drawing, merely the expression of an ink spread hand. He carried this memory of his own daughter next to his heart. When he came to Calcutta to sell his wares, tears came to my eyes. He was no longer just a poor Kavli food seller. Like me, he was a father. I sent for Minnie immediately, clad in bleach red silk with the sandal paste on her forehead. Minnie came and stood shyly before me. Amazed, the Kabuliwala smiled and said,
Little one, you're going to your father-in-law house.
but Minnie now understood. She blushed at the question and stood before him with her face bowed down. When she left, Rahman shined deeply. He realized that his daughter too must have grown up and he also get to know her again. I handed him some money and said, go back to your daughter, Rahman, in your own country. May the blessing of your meeting bring good fortune to your child. Having made this present, I have to cut down on some of the vegetables. It could not have the electric light. It I had indeed. But to me, the wedding feast was much brighter because in a distant land, a long lost father would meet his only child again.
Thank you.